Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
LUS is committed to our customers, from providing and maintaining energy-efficient utility services to friendly, helpful customer service. LUS is there. At LUS, we're always challenging everything we know, every day. We strive to improve efficiency and reliability while focusing on our responsibility to our customers and the community. It's our promise to provide dependable service to our customers every time. Because we don't just work in Lawrence County, we live here too.
Shop McMaster's Home Gallery for furniture, appliances, and more. And shop quality, shop convenience, shop service, shop local. A family-owned business with a long history of serving the region. We're a one-stop home furnishings destination. We feature brands you know, competitively priced, backed by professional installation and service. You can trust that we'll take good care of you before and after the sale. For your home, shop smart. Shop McMaster's Home Gallery today.
There are now more ways to save at Quick Mart. Become a Quick Club member and easily earn rewards on qualifying purchases at Quick Mart convenience stores using the Quick Club app, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. To save on fuel for work, use the Fuel Rewards Pro app to earn 5 cents a gallon on work fill-ups and redeem the savings for yourself. To get started, visit fuelrewards.com/pro or download the app in the Apple App Store and Google Play.
At C&B Linen, fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you. Because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen. Because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody in here to the X Sports Network on a chilly and rainy, kind of just a nasty day all around outside, but we're nice and warm and dry inside. And folks, it's compared to normal episodes, mark my words, this one's actually a little bit dry, so to speak, especially for these times. I mean, there's always a ton going on in the world of college sports. So we'll jump right into some college football. Not a whole lot going on. Obviously, there's only 2 teams left, and they don't play again till Monday. So we'll talk about that game on Friday. Some recent commitments. It is kind of final that Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt has signed with LSU. There was some caution when he made that commitment on Monday morning, that Tennessee was still going to make a push for him, which they did. I think that they were able to make another offer to kind of match LSU, but obviously LSU had a little bit more to offer than Tennessee did. So LSU has their quarterback, and this is, comes just around 24 hours, less than 24 hours from when they got quarterback commit Landon Clark. So it seems that Lane Kiffin has his 2 quarterbacks for next year, and again, he's going with 2, so that's saying if Leavitt isn't cutting it, then maybe Landon Clark's the guy. A little confused, though, about Sam Leavitt, because he's a very touch-and-go kind of guy. We've seen that this year, obviously. Dealt with the ankle injuries this year, and that really limited him. It limited Arizona State. But even before the injury, their big non-conference game this year was Mississippi State. They went on the road to Starkville. And Leavitt was terrible in that game. He went 10 for 22, 82 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, was sacked a couple of times, ran for about 25 yards, but he was not good in that game. And he did get much better as the season went on, because then a couple weeks later he threw for 320 yards against Texas Tech. But that Mississippi State game, it really makes me shake my head over, just wondering, why this guy was the number one quarterback recruit in the portal when he's struggling to put up numbers against even a bottom tier SEC team. Because Mississippi State, folks, I mean, if they had a defense, they would have won some ball games this year. I mean, let's look at their schedule this year. In their losses, they gave up 41 to Tennessee, 31 to A&M, 23 to Florida, a game that they should have won, 45 to Texas in a game they should have won, beat Arkansas. They got beat by Georgia. Georgia beat them, handily, put up 41 points. Missouri put up 49. Ole Miss put up 38. Wake Forest put up 43. And this is a Wake Forest team that scored a whopping 7 against Florida State. So, yeah, that's what you love about college sports. None of it makes sense. 1 + 1 does not equal 2. It doesn't even equal 3. It equals like 17. I mean, it's just really confusing. But I think Leavitt's going to be great at LSU. I mean, this is quite literally the prototypical Lane Kiffin quarterback. You look at the guys that he's coached for the past couple of years. This year, Chambliss, dual threat guy, good with his arm, but can hurt you with his legs. Before that, Jackson Dart, definitely more known for his arm, but he's not afraid to run over you. Matt Corral, he had good legs. He ran for, I think, 200 yards against Tennessee one time. That was a great game. Watch out for the golf balls, though. So, and even if you go back to his time in Alabama, a Blake Sims, I believe it was 1 year of Jalen Hurts. So, he likes dual threat guys that can hurt you with their arm, but are also no slouch with their legs. I mean, we've seen the plays that Leavitt can make with his legs. So, definitely going to be a fun time down on the Bayou this fall. Going on from that, we have Noah Rogers, the North Carolina State transfer, has committed to Alabama. That was yesterday. Bo Pribula committed to Virginia. That was another name that Tennessee was trying to get their names, in on the battle for him. But it seems like Pribula maybe has a bit of disdain towards his old head coach, James Franklin. When Pribula entered the portal, everybody, and I mean everybody, including me, thought that Washington State was the team for him. He was going to go join Kirby Moore, his former offensive coordinator, who is now the head coach at Washington State, and go put up nice numbers in the Pac-2 for a couple of years, for a year, and then come back into the limelight of college football. But Virginia, Virginia had a great year this year, but they're going to need a new quarterback next year, so they were going to be in the market for one. I mean, this is an ACC runner-up team that was this close, beating a 7-5 team away from making the playoff. So I think Pribula's put himself in a pretty good spot. But, their biggest rival, Virginia Tech, is where his former head coach, James Franklin, and a lot of his former teammates from Penn State are. I think it's a great move, though, for Virginia, and Tony Elliott got him a weapon, because Pribula is probably more known for his legs than his arm. But, man, I mean, if he can get his arm anywhere near to what Chandler Morris was last year, which isn't, I don't think, too far to imagine, watch out for Virginia being another great team in the ACC this year. That's a winning quarterback. Minnesota safety transfer Coy Parrish has committed to Oregon. This is one of the top guys in the portal. He is a safety, but can play both sides of the ball. I think it's a great pickup for Oregon. You get an experienced guy back there to lead that secondary that was, it looked a little touch and go against Indiana. I mean, you didn't give up a ton of yards, but you gave up 5 touchdowns. So it gives them something to work on. Kind of out of nowhere, this was on Monday night. Colorado offensive lineman Jordan Seaton plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal. Was the number one offensive lineman in the class a couple of years ago. I remember his last couple of schools were Tennessee, Colorado, and maybe an Alabama or a Georgia in there. And he was going to. It looked at that time that him and former 4-star athlete at the time, Boo Carter, were both going to go to wherever together. Carter commits to Tennessee. It's like, hey, Seaton, come on, let's go to Knoxville. And then Seaton goes to Colorado, makes that big announcement on, I believe he was on Colin Cowherd's show or something like that, to make the announcement. So, he was a big-time recruit, goes to Colorado, looks good, but the rest of his team around him is so bad. And I think that good players on bad teams are kind of what the transfer portal is made for. Hey, come join us. You're good. You can join us. We win, and go on. Now the funny thing is that Boo Carter transferred to Colorado to seemingly team up with Seton, and then 3 days later, Seton's entered the transfer portal. I think Texas is going to be a school to watch because Seton is going to want a gaudy amount of money, financial support. I mean, whatever he can get. I believe I read somewhere $3 to $4 million for an offensive lineman. There's not a school outside of Texas that is going to forfeit that much money for anything outside of a quarterback. Maybe an edge rusher, but definitely not any like an offensive lineman. Now, I think Seton's the guy that's going to be playing on Sundays pretty soon. So you're going to get 1 year of one of the best offensive tackles in football. Again, I see him going to Texas probably. That would be my initial pick, just because they need offensive linemen bad. They're one of the few schools that's going to be able to give him as much money as he wants, and that it's going to get him on a better team. And this is that piece that Texas needs. This is they've got an interior offensive lineman. You get an offensive tackle. That's going to shore up your offensive line pretty well going forward. Texas transfer wide receiver DeAndre Moore has committed to Colorado. Maybe a little bit of a trade going on here. 77 catches, 988, and 11 touchdowns during his time with Texas. Moore was one of the top available receivers in the portal, and I think it's a good weapon for Colorado. But Deion's really going to have to show up this year if he wants to keep his job, because that first year, okay, they went like 4-8, 5-7, whatever the record was. And they're like, okay, we'll give him some time. Obviously, I mean, it was his first year as a major D1 coach, so they go 4-8 in that first year. They got the big win over TCU, Nebraska, Colorado State. And then Oregon happened, and then USC happened, and then you get a win over Arizona State. And this was 2023, 2 years ago. And you fall to Stanford, who was not good. You fall to UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona. Now, this was a year when the Pac-12 was loaded, but you struggled. Then the past season, the 2024 season, you go 9-4. I mean, a 9-3 regular season where your losses were to Nebraska, a team that you probably should have beaten, Kansas State, a game that you could have won, and Kansas, for some reason, turned into a buzzsaw at the end of 2024, where they went on a stretch where they beat number 7 Iowa State, number 6 BYU, number 16 Colorado, almost beat Kansas State. I mean, they went on a little tear there at the end of that season. But you had some good. Something to build off of, get some transfers, get some recruits. This past year was awful, not 3-9. I mean, their only wins, Delaware, who newly transitioned over to the FBS, Wyoming, and Iowa State. Now, that win against Iowa State was very confusing, but, they showed some promise. Close loss against Georgia Tech, close loss against BYU. It was even close with West Virginia, but then there were the 30 and 40 point blowout losses. Arizona, Utah, Arizona State, some of your former Pac-12 foes, putting it on you in the Big 12. So I'm not sure if Moore is going to be all that Colorado needs to get things turned around, but it's starting to get to very important season coming up for Deion. Ohio State transfer wide receiver Miles Graham is committed to Notre Dame. This is the second Ohio State transfer wide receiver to end up in South Bend. Teaming up with Quincy Porter, who transferred, I believe, on Monday. Listen, Ohio State has the most stacked wide receiver room in the country. I would take somebody from there. It doesn't matter if he played last season or not. If they took him, he's good. Well, now Hartline's gone to South Florida. All those guys are free game. Obviously, Smith's going to stay. I think Tate's probably going to get drafted. But everybody else is free game. And Notre Dame's capitalized. They realize they have a passing quarterback now and are probably going to be throwing the ball a ton next year with the loss of Jeremiah Love. Go get some guys like Graham. Go get some guys like Potter who can really turn things around. TJ Finley has found where he wants to go. 6 years, 6 schools. I mean, he's got almost the entire rainbow covered. Started at LSU, went to Auburn. Now, somehow he actually graduated from Auburn. Then goes to Texas State, Tulane, Western Kentucky, Georgia State. Oh, 7th school. He's committed to the Incarnate Word. It's an FCS school. It's his lowest, I guess you could say, division-wise. But Incarnate Word's put guys in the NFL. Cam Ward, he started there before he was at Washington State. It's a good spot for him. Massive NIL offers from other schools couldn't delay Ty Simpson's NFL dreams, according to Chris Lowe from On3. Tennessee, Miami, and Ole Miss were offering $4 million, and the Hurricanes even upped it to $6.5. Miami was kind of like, all right, we're moving on, and then they lost out on Sam Levitt and came back with that big number, Simpson said, and then Ole Miss called again and said they could not, or said they could match it. Listen, this guy wants to go to the NFL. I think he's found a good quarterback class to join in, and he's at a point right now where, I mean, we saw him get a little banged up last year behind a very up and down Alabama offensive line. Now, I'm not going to say Simpson, went through the season unscathed, because that's obviously not it, but he was sacked 28 times. You play 14, 15 games, that's getting sacked twice a game. I think he just wants to go to the NFL, make his money, try to learn, be a young guy, because I think he wants to do in the NFL what he did in college. Yeah, he's going to be a highly ranked guy, but he's not going to come in and want to be a starter somewhere. He's going to come in, sit behind, I don't know, I mean, let's think of an NFL team with an older quarterback right now. The Rams. Goes, sits behind Stafford for a couple of years. Learns that Rams offense with Sean McVay, and in 3 years, he's the starter, and the Rams have barely missed a step. Just something like that. That is why Ty Simpson doesn't want $7 million from Miami, because he wants the experience and to learn, get in the NFL, and turn things around for hopefully turn things around for an NFL franchise. I mean, even to go to a team like, I'm trying to think of some older quarterback teams. Maybe a Colts. I mean, he would have to probably go in and be the starter there, and that's already such a young quarterback room. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but somebody's going to get. I really do think Ty Simpson's going to be a good NFL quarterback. I just kind of got a feeling about it. So I think that's going to be a good move for him going forward. If he came back to college, what was he going to get? I don't think that there was anything necessarily that other than maybe some individual awards that he wasn't able to obtain. That's the only reason he would come back to college. So now let's hop on over to some college basketball. We had a ton of great action last night, as we always do. Tuesdays have turned out to be a really good night. Usually, last year that was kind of the Wednesdays games, but man, Tuesday has really showed out. No games on Monday, obviously, to kind of combat with the that NBA and NFL playoff schedule. But last night we had Virginia getting a big win over Louisville. 16th ranked Cavaliers get a win 79-70. Let me pull up that one real quick. Get some final numbers on that. Isaac McNeely went off against his old team. 23 points, 5 of 14 from 3. Ryan Conwell with 4. Javon Hadley with 11. And nobody else for Louisville scored more than 10. I mean, the rest of the team only scored 22 points. Other than those three. Virginia, listen, they play team basketball as well as anybody in the country. DeRitter wasn't shooting great, but he had 9 points. Grunlow, 16 points, 7 rebounds. Dallin Hall, 5 points, 12 boards. He was huge. And Malik Thomas led the team in scoring, 6 out of 8 from 3. Was huge for Virginia. And the Cavs, one loss right now in conference play, and it was the conference opener loss on New Year's Eve at Virginia Tech in triple overtime. So, hey, the Cavs, one of the hottest teams in the ACC right now. Louisville really struggling without Michael Brown. They are in a point right now where they need to get him down, or they need to get him back and figure things out big time. Because there's a couple of teams right now that are at turning points in their season, and Louisville's one of them. They need to get Michael Brown back. because right now they're at that fringe point where it could be tournament time or it could be go home time, NIT time. Now, good thing for them the rest of the month, at least next week. Or they have Pitt Saturday at Pitt. Pitt has a losing record, and then they have the week off. Then the next Saturday they're home against a good Virginia Tech team, have a chance to build up their strength. Then have to turn around that Monday, go to Duke, and then that following Saturday, though, the end of the month, home against SMU. They got a chance to get some wins. Because the ACC is brutal. You got to play Carolina. You got to play. Don't believe you have to play Virginia again, but you got Clemson on that schedule. You got Georgia Tech, who can shake some teams up. SMU was ranked moments ago. Got some wins. Looking ahead for the Cavaliers, they got SMU on Saturday, a chance at a big win. They got some tough games, though, this stretch. They also play Saturday and Saturday. At SMU this Saturday, home against North Carolina next Saturday. That could be a good one. The noon, actually the one at PM tip on ESPN. Sticking in the ACC, we will look at Clemson and Miami as they both stay unbeaten in conference play. Clemson getting a win 74-50 over Boston College. Really not a whole lot to talk for. Nick Davidson 25 points off the bench for Clemson as the Tigers stay hot. 4-0 in conference play. Miami 4-0 in conference play, getting their win against Notre Dame last night, 81-69. 17 from Malik Reno. And 10 boards with him as well. Henderson gives you 17. 23 from Trey Donaldson. That was a big get out of the portal for Miami. Trey Donaldson, he's was good at Michigan last year, but wanted to have a bigger role. Goes to Miami, has a bigger role, and the Canes look really good. Just a year after losing, not losing in that sense, but I believe they fired him or resigned with Jim Larinaga. So on over to the Big 12, always a tough conference. Baylor going to work against Oklahoma State last night, getting the win 94-79. Cowboys have really struggled in Big 12 play. They're 1-3. Bears get their first win. Nice to see from them. You got a whole team effort. 14 from Williams off the bench, but then your starters. 23 from Yusufu. Rataj gives you 19. Cam Carr gives you 17. And Abim gives you 15. And the G League player that is on their roster played 6 minutes and got a rebound and had a turnover. Also 3 fouls in 6 minutes because this is the NBA. They actually call fouls in college basketball. So not necessarily preying on his downfall or anything, but more or less kind of preying on Baylor's downfall because, Scott Drew a couple of years ago I think was one of the more respected coaches in college basketball because he got that job at Baylor. He stayed there. He built up a program and finally, after 15 years or so, wins a national championship. Hoorah! Baylor kind of has up and down years as Baylor will, and then this happens, and you have coaches. It's like I gotta call Scott and talk to him about this. You got some of the more respected guys, Tom Izzo, Calipari. Maybe Rick Barnes just spoke on it. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking of some of the older guys, the Mick Cronins, the Mark Fuse. That would speak on this. I'm not sure if Kelvin Sampson, I'm sure, said something. But it's not a good look for college basketball. And then when you throw them out there and they don't even look good, it's ruining the product on the floor because I think that right now, the NBA and college basketball are two different games. It's pretty evident. Because you still have teams that run sets and have cultures and stuff like that. NBA, it's kind of just a rotating door of who you want to play for, who wants to pay you millions of dollars, and you might win a championship, but at that point it kind of feels like a Mickey Mouse championship, so to speak. If you were winning a championship back in the 70s through I'd say even the 2010s, man, you were winning a battle. Those late 2000s, early 2010s Celtics Lakers, Celtics Heat. Those rivalries around the early 2010s. About the time, I think 2016 was around the time the NBA died. I think that finals with the 3-1 lead when the Warriors came back, or the Cavs came back from the Warriors 3-1 lead, and then the Warriors got Kevin Durant, and I think ruined basketball. But we're talking about college sports here. Kansas getting a huge win at home. And I tell you, the fog early in the week is a tough place to play. And unfortunately, Iowa State fell victim to this time. Kansas was up by 21 at halftime. Kansas was up by 21 at the end of regulation. Jayhawks, 84. Cyclones, 63. Listen, it was the game that Kansas needed. Badunga looked good. Council looked good. Trey White, a double-double, 19 and 10. Darren Peterson didn't shoot great from outside, but was able to get his. But then, the biggest thing, Elmarco Jackson, Jamari McDowell providing off the bench. That adds so much to Kansas. And then you look at Iowa State. Jefferson was not great shooting. Momcilovic was not great shooting. Lipsy was not great shooting. And then you go to the bench, the one guy that was good at shooting, Jamarian Bateman, he was 5 for 9. I mean, you go to Nate Heiss, who went 4 for 7, but a really, really tough shooting night for for Iowa State. That Kansas defense is tough, though. I mean, you just tell the team to 33% from the field, 33 from 3, and 56 from the line. Kansas, on the other hand, shoots 50% from the field, 50% from 3, and 83% from the line. That's going to win you a ton of ball games, folks. I'll just go ahead and tell it to you like that. We'll stay in the Big 12, where Houston dominates a team that beat Kansas on Saturday by double digits. Houston wins by nearly 30. We're starting to finally see this team come together. Sharp was good, 13 points, 4 rebounds. Uzan, 17 points. Kingston Fleming's had an all-around great game. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, only 1 turnover. JoJo Tugward, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks. And then Chris Signac, 7 points, 10 boards, and 2 steals. He had a great game. Isaiah Harwell, Mercy Miller showed some punch off the bench. But, I mean, Houston didn't really have to try, and I mean, you just force 30% shooting. You're getting 10 more shots a game. You're getting 10 more free throws a game. You're forcing 15 turnovers to your 7. You're out rebounding teams 38 to 29. You're out assisting them. You're fouling less than them. I mean, that is a recipe for winning games and winning them big. Houston still undefeated in Big 12 play. And looking at the Big 12 standings right now, they're all over the place. I mean, you got Houston, Arizona, BYU at the top. You got Iowa State, Texas Tech, UCF, Colorado there at the 2-loss, but you still got some good 2-loss teams. Kansas, we've seen looked good. West Virginia, I don't know, they beat Kansas by 10 and then lose to Houston by 30. I still think teams like Kansas State, who haven't won a conference game yet, still got some fight in them and will probably win a game that they shouldn't against a Kansas or an Iowa State or a BYU, something like that. And quick question, man, why all the BYU disrespect? Now, obviously, they didn't play the toughest non-con, but they have a good win over Villanova, who looks good right now. A 2-point loss against UConn that was 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. A win against BYU, a 28-point win against BYU, a 10-point win over Miami. You didn't play the toughest December. You got a close win over Clemson. And then you get into January, you start conference play. You're winning games, you're winning them big, and you're dropping in the rankings, man. I get there are some teams that maybe should have jumped you, maybe a Nebraska, maybe a Vanderbilt, but this BYU team hasn't lost since November, and we're crucifying them almost. It just feels kind of strange. We will jump on over now to the Big East, who actually had a fairly good set of games last night. Creighton went over Georgetown 86-83 in overtime. We had a top 25 matchup in the Big East, which I did not think we would have this year, but hey, it lined up perfectly. Seton Hall had a number by their name last night and unfortunately fell to UConn, but their defense, Seton Hall, was great. If they don't fall behind by 13 at halftime, maybe it's a 6-point game at halftime, they win this game. But man, Taurus Reed, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. He's awesome. Alex Caravan didn't shoot great, but had 13 points. Braylon Mullins, 11 points, and then 8 for Ball and Demery as well. Demery goes for 7 assists as well. Great job moving the ball around for him. Seton Hall, Mike Williams, 16 points. Adam Clark, 12. You get 10 from Najee Hines and 7 boards off the bench from him. Seton Hall, really, really tough team. Good defensively. I hope these two teams play again this year. I'm just going to check the schedule, see when that would line up. February 28th, 11 a.m., Seton Hall at UConn. That's going to be a good one. As long as the Pirates can again, hold on to things. But, man, what a build-up from them. I'll tell you, Seton Hall is a team that I don't really think of as a tough team, but, you know, they go get Shaheen Holloway, who played at Seton Hall, but it had that awesome year with St. Peter's. And, you know, it leads them to, I believe, a Sweet 16 or whatever it was. But usually those hires don't work. I mean, the Porter Moser, you know, from Loyola Chicago, got all the way up to the SEC, but he's kind of settled down, I guess you could say, so to speak. He's not necessarily winning championships like many people thought he could. You know, Holloway obviously leads that St. Peter's team a couple years ago, and, you know, immediately took that Seton Hall job, and it didn't look great, but he's built this team up. Impressive job by him. Villanova, 88-82 win over Providence. St. John's, a 92-68 win over Marquette. Really good win for St. John's. Good to see them put the ball in the baskets. Over to the Big Ten, Wisconsin, a 78-75 winners over Minnesota. Blackwell goes for 27. Noah Winter, 12 points, 11 rebounds. And then Carrington, 21 points off the bench, was really nice for the Golden Gophers. Cade Tyson, 14 points, 5 rebounds. Reynolds, 12 points, 10 assists, 20 points from Cocker Johnson. Asuma goes you 17. But again, you only had 6 guys score, and you know, if they're not scoring double figures, it's not going to work. Good win for Wisconsin to kind of compound that victory over Michigan with another tough win. You know, it's very easy to win a big game and then lose the next one immediately. Michigan State, 81-60 winners over Indiana. Hoosiers still struggling. If your name's not Lamar Wilkinson, you've struggled shooting. You've struggled scoring. Wilkinson's giving you 20 points a game. And, man, what a pickup for them, because this is a guy that was, you know, shooting about the same as he's shooting right now, honestly. 45, you know, to 50% from the field, 45% from 3, 85% from the line. That's what you're getting right now for Indiana. But if you're not going to score a lot, defense has got to be there, and it was not last night. Jeremy Fears, who averages 12 points a game, but it feels like most of his big games have actually been as of late. He's actually played really well since the new year. So I was going to say that typically he hadn't been a great scorer, because he had games where 2 points, 8 points, 6 points, but he was getting up a lot of assists. Last night, 23 points, 10 assists, 3 turnovers. He looked really good. Jackson Kohler goes for 16 points, 10 boards, and a great win. Jordan Scott and Kurt Heng both go for double digits off the bench, and a great win for Michigan State at home in front of their fans at the Breslin Center. Nebraska went out, hosted Oregon, and sent them packing early. This one was over. You could say it was over at halftime. It was over at halftime. I mean, it was a 12-point game at halftime. But then, man, 35-point win, 90-55. Price Sanford, 28 points. Sam Hoiberg with 11. 23 from Braden Fager off the bench. He is becoming one of my favorite players in college basketball. Braden Frager. He's a freshman out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Big, lanky, 6'7", 6'8", guard, wing, forward, whatever you want to call him. Getting you about 12 points a game, but, man, he doesn't start, and he's had multiple. I mean, he had a 20-point game in their first game of the season. Hasn't played more than 30 minutes once this year. He's played at 30 minutes against Wisconsin, actually 31 against Winthrop, but 30 against Wisconsin, 30 against Michigan State, 30 against Oregon. He's putting up 23 points, 11 points, 15, 15, 17, 0, 15, 17, 11, 11, 16. And this is since Thanksgiving. 20, 25. I mean, he's been awesome this year. And that's a big reason why Nebraska has come out of nowhere, because they have these guys that you don't think of, like Price Sanford. Does anybody know where he played last year? Did you know that he played at Iowa? Because a lot of people didn't know. He's just another big, lanky 6'6" to 6'8" wing player that's giving you 16, 17 points a game. I mean, even the coach's kid, Sam Hoiberg, he's giving you nearly 10 points a game. And then you got some great rebounders like Most from the Netherlands, the big man inside. He's been great. But, man, Oregon didn't even shoot that bad. They just got beat everywhere else. I believe that's it in the Big Ten. USC 88-71 win over Maryland. We'll take a peek at those standings real quick over in the Big Ten. Well, if it will load, there we go. So in the Big Ten, we've got 2 undefeated teams in conference play remaining, Nebraska and Purdue. Obviously with Michigan having that 1 loss, but I mean, this conference deep. You go all the way to the end of 2 loss teams, you still got some good teams. I mean, even the 3 loss teams. I think USC, Minnesota, and Indiana are teams, and even Ohio State and even Iowa. If you keep digging further, these are teams that can give teams trouble. Penn State has given teams trouble. They almost beat Purdue and Michigan in their last 2 games. But you got Nebraska, who is really good, number 8 in the country. Purdue looks really good, number 5. Michigan only fell to 4. Michigan State at 12, Illinois at 13. You have 5 teams in the top 13 in the country, and they're all really, really good. And they play different ways. You know, Michigan and Purdue are offense, and maybe even Michigan State a little bit, but Nebraska, Michigan State, Illinois, their defense grinded out, rebounded, that kind of ball. And it's fun when you have a clash of styles between those two because you really get to see who the tough teams are. Over in the SEC, where we had some good ones last night, we will start first to a game that many people didn't get to see the first half of. Alabama going to Starkville, getting a win at the hump, 97-82 over Mississippi State. LeBaron Philon was awesome, goes for 32 points, 15 points for Aiden Holloway, 13 and 13 from Amari Allen, Aiden Sherrill, 22 points. They put up some points, and that's all they needed to do. Josh Hubbard with 23, 6.17 rebounds for Quincy Ballard. Epps gives you 13, a core, 8 and 5. Jones 8 and 4. It was a really slow scoring night for Mississippi State, and if they don't have that catastrophic run right before the end of half, maybe they win this game because they were destroying Alabama. They had them beat and let it get away from them. Sean Jones gives you 8 points. Hubbard, he was sitting around his average. But, I mean, you're just missing some real scoring from Epps. Epps finished with 13. You'd like to see a little bit more scoring from him. But, man, at some point you're going to have to get a stop. Because, I mean, if you have Philon and Sherrill and Allen and Holloway, if you have Philon and Holloway going for over 45 points and then another 2 guys going for 35, I mean, that was like 70 points right there. Let's do the math real quick. 47, 69... 82 of the 97 points came from 4 guys. Really, really freaking impressive. Not as an exciting game, but Florida, boy, they come back in a big way. Conference play hit, and they said, all right, we're the real deal again. I mean, everyone helps. Thomas Houck had a big game, 21.7 boards. Ruben Chinulu probably back-to-back his best 2 games in a Gator uniform. Goes 17 and 16 against Tennessee on Saturday. Goes 19 and 12 against OU last night. Whew. He's good. And that's been the reason Florida's been so good. Their defense, their rebounding. Out-rebounded Oklahoma 43-31. You want to look just at offensive rebounds. They got 17 to Oklahoma's 11. And then turnovers. Not a whole lot. 7 for Florida, 11 for Oklahoma. But, man, Florida was shooting the lights out. They found they were getting to the line. But, man, I mean, they took 11 more shots than Florida. Or 11 more shots than Oklahoma. That'll win you a game by 17 points. And then probably the game of the night in college basketball. Tennessee over Texas A&M in 2 overtimes. You have Tennessee, a team that's kind of lingering. Has not looked good at either Saturday in SEC play yet. And you have Texas A&M, who hadn't lost an SEC game yet. They got the buzzer beater at Auburn. Just scraped by LSU. Get by Oklahoma on Saturday, and now they come to Knoxville. All right, we'll put a team with a number by their name to play you. See if you can handle it. I'll tell you who did. Shakari Lane, senior out of Huntsville, was awesome last night. Goes for 20 points, 9 assists. He's about 5'11", so 9 rebounds would be crazy. Rashawn Agee, 11 points, 9 rebounds. Ruben Dominguez was awesome. He can really shoot it from outside. It felt like in that first half, anytime Tennessee would get back in the game, Texas A&M, score, steal, score, turnover, score. And you're like, what the heck happened? We just tied it up, and now it's a 7-point game. and Ruben Dominguez and Jakari Lane and even Pop Isaacs off the bench were the reason that happened. Isaacs had 16 points, 6 rebounds. He was crazy good down the lane. It was just, he really struggled shooting. But man, how good was he at Creighton last year and able to, and what action he got to play has been really big for Bucky McMillan off the bench. For Tennessee, though, Jacoby Gillespie did not shoot the ball great. He hit big shots when he needed to. Was a little careless with the ball, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, not a great rate. Felix Okpara decided to become a scoring option for all of a sudden. 10 points, 12 boards. He was awesome. Bishop Boswell had a huge game. 13 points, 11 rebounds, the first double-double for him in his Tennessee career. Dwayne Brown was a little quiet. Only played 5 minutes in the game. 2 points, 2 rebounds. Had a little bit of foul trouble, as did a lot of people in that first half. J.P. Estrella did not play much. Only 3 rebounds in his time. Jalen Carey was huge, though. 10 points, 9 rebounds. Troy Henderson came in and hit some big threes. He hit 2. He had 8 points. Amari Abram hit the 1-3, not Amari Evans. But Amari Evans came in and played 11 big minutes defensively. But the all-around superstar in this game, Nate Ament. He became, I think he grew up a lot. And his last 2 games have probably been his best 2 games at Tennessee. Except maybe that Rutgers game. He was really good against Rutgers. He had like 20 points in that game. He even had 20 points against Kansas. So maybe we've been giving him a hard time. He's only scored in single figures 4 times this year, and those were against Texas, a win, Gardner-Webb, a win, Illinois, a loss, and then Houston, a win. So he doesn't have to be a scorer for this team. It just helps when he is. And last night, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. He did it all. And played 43 minutes as a freshman. There were 3 guys in that game there were 4 that played over 40 minutes in this game. Lane for Texas A&M was huge, but Ament 43 minutes, Gillespie 48 of the 50 minutes, and he fouled out the last 2. I don't think he sat down. Bishop Boswell played 43 minutes, great win all around for Tennessee. Looking at the SEC standings, if we can pull that up. I hate how ESPN does them in alphabetical order because there's so many more conferences in basketball. At least in since there's not the FBS and FCS. Vandy, the only undefeated team in SEC conference play and overall. A&M suffered their first loss last night, but you got A&M at 3-1, Florida at 3-1, and then you go down to the 2-loss teams: Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Alabama. All very inconsistent teams that are still trying to find their footing. I think Alabama's probably the most likely to, and Tennessee's probably the second most likely just because of sheer talent. But right now, if I had to pick a 4 to get first-round buys in the SEC tournament, right now I'm going Vanderbilt, I'm going Florida, I'm going Arkansas, and realistically, I think it'll either be Tennessee or Alabama that will get that 4th buy for the SEC tournament. Looking at the slate for tonight in men's basketball, you got Duke at Cal, that one at 10 p.m. tonight. Iowa at Purdue. Ole Miss at Georgia. Chance for Georgia to get right. Purdue also needs a big win against Iowa here. This Iowa team is really struggling on the road. They're going to get one eventually, though. Illinois at Northwestern, so just going right up the road from Champaign to Evanston. Northwestern's not had a very great year, so I think Illinois should be able to, if they can rebound and shoot the basketball, they'll be fine in this one. Vandy against Texas. Texas, what are you going to get from them? Are you going to get what you saw in the midweek where they really struggled against Tennessee last Tuesday, or are you going to get the Texas that went to Alabama and beat them on Saturday? It's going to be a tough one for Vandy because Texas can score, and they're one of those teams that can keep up with you. I'm going to pick Vandy, but it's going to be a good one. North Carolina making the trip out west to Stanford. North Carolina and Duke both making their West Coast trips here early. I like North Carolina and Duke both to get wins. I'm going to go with Texas Tech over Utah, that one at 8 on Peacock. Arkansas and South Carolina, that one at 8 on the SEC Network. Utah State, Nevada, that should be a pretty good one. The Mountain West looking like it might only get one team in this year with Utah State. Maybe if they don't win the conference, that maybe a team like New Mexico could come through. But really, that whole conference is just kind of like the Big East. Like you expect them to be, that 5th conference, that 6th conference, and they've really struggled. Arizona State at 9:30 on FS1, a good rivalry game, but Arizona Arizona's Arizona. They're really good. TCU at BYU. That one at 10 on ESPN2 should be a get-right game for BYU. And again, if we see Wright, DeBanza, and Saunders combined for 75, if they each go for 20 again, watch out for BYU. Michigan at Washington. Again, another team making a West Coast trip. Michigan coming off a loss, so it could be cause for some worry, but Washington isn't a team that has really scared anybody in college basketball this year. On Thursday, we got Gonzaga at Washington State, and on Friday, we've got Creighton at Providence, Toledo, Kent State, Baylor, Kansas, Loyola, Chicago at Dayton, Marquette, DePaul, Ohio, and Ball State, Colorado State, and Boise State, and we will talk about Saturday's games on Friday. So that will do it for this edition of the Mark My Words College Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. Like I said, we will be back on Friday. We will talk about the closing of the transfer portal. We will look at Saturday's games for college basketball. We will also go back and look at Wednesday's games, and we will have all that here on the X Sports Network. So for Michael Marks, have a good day, everybody.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.